Living Your Life Unplugged, just for you. And just a special message. We just want to let you know that whatever you're looking for is looking for you. And one thing that I've been challenged with, over the last week or so is calling to my future now. Because I believe a lot of us are looking way out there for answers. We're looking way out there for those hard questions. But everything that we're looking for really is inside of us. And so if all of us get in a daily habit of calling to our future now, all of those dreams, all of those goals, those things that you wake up with, those things that you sleep with, that you embody inside of you 24/7, if you're able to tap in to the true you and call to your future now, 2013 will be the year not only that you were looking for, but it'll be the year that has been predestined and destined for you. Everything around you, the times, the seasons, they'll all change. The only thing that will stay the same is the gift of life that God put in you. So use your gifts. Make them work in your favor. Don't look for anybody else to make it happen. God gave you the power, and the power of now is waiting for you. Welcome to our very first edition of Living Your Life Unplugged. I'm so happy to have with me today one of my close friends, my brother, Paul, who's experienced a lot of life's transitions and elevations, as well as I, and he's here to share with us today as we embark upon a season of enlightenment, encouragement, and motivation to people that may be unfamiliar with the lives of African American, gay, Black men. As we go forward, I would just ask that you keep an open mind and open heart to our experience, and that you pass it on, and that others can be encouraged, motivated, and enlightened as well. Again, welcome to Living Your Life Unplugged with yours truly, Quincy Guest. We both experienced that feeling that many gay, lesbian, and transgender people feel when they walk into a church that may not specifically embrace them for who they are, being the gay, lesbian, transgender person that they are. And I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that experience. I want to talk about that feeling. I want to talk about the whole mindset behind that, because I know I felt that a lot of times, growing up in church and growing up in churches where they actually taught against homosexuality, and the overall feeling that I had from the age of 14 on up after experiencing a service like that was very disheartening. I actually felt in a lot of ways depressed and suicidal after leaving a lot of those services. And so, Paul, have you ever experienced that before?
Well, there's been a lot of isolation from the church with me growing up in the church. And I think that it really comes back to the individual and issues of self-esteem. And I think it was very natural for me, feeling so isolated from the church, to really go beyond and try to find something that would validate me.
Is that because when you went to the church, you felt that whatever need or whatever issue you had, they weren't able to address that, or they weren't able to meet that specific need? What was it?
Well, the message is that I felt that God didn't love me. And that there was something separate. That even when you speak about sin, and when you speak about the struggles that people face in the church, that mine was separate from their struggles. So there was a very profound isolation. And so for someone like me, I searched in Buddha, witchcraft, all sorts of spirituality that I felt that would validate me. But what I kept coming back to was what was instilled in me as a little boy. And I remember my grandmother singing to me time and time and time again, Jesus loves the little children, all the children of the world.
Wow, wow, wow. So that's powerful that you say that, because even in having that experience growing up, you still tap back into it, but at the same time, you are also open to other religions and other experiences, knowing that the Creator is the Creator of all, that God is the God of all. So regardless of your denomination, regardless of your religion, that God loves us all.
Yes.
I think that that's so powerful, because I think that in the African American church, we are taught that there's one way, and if you don't go that one way, then you're lost, and that you're damned. And then you throw on top of that you're gay, or that you're lesbian, and that you're transgender, then you're really thrown out the door. So where did your inner peace and your inner joy come from when the hope that you were looking for was not provided within that four-wall structure? Where did that relationship and that love for God, for the Creator, come from if it wasn't facilitated in the place where we're all told we should go to get rescued?
Well, that's a difficult question, because I had to really go through the wilderness.
Wow.
On that one.
When you say go through the wilderness, what do you mean?
I had to detach myself from the church, from how I understood it and what was being told to me, and that I realized that God had really allowed me to go on a journey to come back to Him.
Wow.
You know, and
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing, because I think that in life's journeys and in all of our wilderness experience, that there's a revelation and that there's an answer. And I think that if we look inward to our higher self, that we actually will tap back into the same source of energy, the same source of spirituality that we were born with. And so a lot of people look outside of themselves for healing, for truth, for love, but all of that kind of stuff is within us. And as we were talking earlier, it lays dormant within us unless something in life actually happens to awaken us to a higher sense of self. And for a lot of, gay, lesbian, and transgender people, a lot of us have dared to dream, because there have been so many people that have killed our dreams without us even dreaming yet. They've taken the hope, they've taken the desire away from us. And instead of them breathing life back into us because of our differences and embracing the differences, they've kind of pushed that aside. But I think that what's happening now, Paul, is that there's a new generation of people that are coming out and that are proud of who they are, that are very spiritual, that have dreams, and that regardless of what cards, so to speak, that have been dealt to them in life, that they're going above and beyond, not really to prove anyone wrong, but because they're living in their purpose and in their destiny. And I think that it's very funny, because in a lot of African American churches, you find that, predestination being things being predetermined and things being pre-decided when it comes to sexuality. A lot of people believe that people are born this way. And then a very large portion of people believe that you choose.
It's almost like there's a message that's being said that you can come into our church and we'll tolerate you, not accept. There's a difference between acceptance and tolerance. If you stay in these rigid roles that we've created for you. So unless you're playing the organ or you're singing in the choir, that you keep very, very quiet, that you try not to be too feminine, all these types of oppressive layers.
Yeah.
When you talk about positions, but on the positive side, singing in the choir, playing the organ, a lot of positions that we see gay men in have become a way for us to worship and to be seen. And but it's important for us to really think critically beyond that, because I know that when I go to the altar,
say that. Yeah.
When I go to the altar, the first thing, and we've talked about this before, that a lot of times the preacher or whomever it is that wants to lay hands on you, it becomes the gay issue first.
Yeah.
The homosexuality. But yet, I could be struggling with drugs or an addiction.
Yeah.
I could be struggling with low self-esteem, and just because I am does not mean that it all comes back to me being homosexual. Because although I identify as homosexual, I'm so much more than just that.
So, Paul, let me ask you, what's the biggest struggle, I know, what's the biggest struggle that you've ever had to deal with in life?
Well, the acceptance of myself, and through that, drugs, and the type of degradation and to see my addiction take on a beast, and to find myself, even someone who's always lived on my own, who's worked full time, to still find myself caught up in the grips of prostitution, unprotected sex, and all sorts of dilemmas, anxiety and self-esteem issues, suicidal thoughts, that the issue with narcotics and drugs have really expanded to, some of them call it a monkey, I call it a gorilla.
Well, let me, and I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
But at the end of the day, despite the struggles and the way that we feel about ourselves, that we are still held accountable. At the end of the day, that because we have so many little resources, and a lot of times in our community, in our family structures, in the church, that what I've learned through my addiction is that I am my own worst enemy, and that there's been nobody who's hurt me as much as myself.
So what broke it for you? I guess that's the big question. What broke the struggle? What broke the addiction? And what started your awakening? What started the Paul that? Well, first of all, let's just lay the cards out on the table. You know, while you were in the thick. While you were in the thick of your struggle, I was in the thick of my struggle, trying to, if we want to be transparent about it, making money, being very successful with a not really a job, but with a career at the top of my game, working with performers and with entertainers, but had the beast.
Because the disease doesn't care about that.
It doesn't.
And it's authentic to exactly what it is. Dis-ease.
Yeah.
You know, I am the disease. And the disease has not been broken. It's still alive. It will wait on you.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's why it's important for us as young people, young black gay people, to really dialogue. Because where the pedagogy is coming from, where the learning is coming from, through the media system, through misrepresentations in the institutions in church. We have to be able to step outside of that.
My God, wow.
And really come together as a community. Because nobody else is going to do it for us. So we really have, that's why education and reading is so important.
But I need you to go deeper than that, because I know education and reading, all of that stuff is very important. It's fundamental. That's what we need. And a lot of African Americans in general don't tap into that. But I need to know what's your secret, because even though some struggles still may be there, but what is your secret to maintaining a balanced life now? What's the secret? Because we all got a secret. And we all got a way to tap into the divine within us all.
Well, the secret is that I had to really surrender.
Say that.
I had to cry out. I needed to get my butt kicked. So that same little boy from the church that went out and journeyed, I got exactly what I asked for.
Well, would you say that when you went out and that you journeyed, not to interrupt you like that, but was some of that journey and some of that going out because of not being embraced in the church? And because I feel like a lot of gay men, a lot of lesbians, and a lot of our transgender brothers and sisters, a lot of them would not have experienced a lot of addiction, a lot of the physical
abuse and sexual terrorism,
and the
isolation.
psychological
Yes.
abuse as well. If when they went into the quote house of God, people at the altar with all their anointing knew how to minister to them. A lot of hurt and a lot of pain would have stopped.
But
right
you said the
then
key
and there.
word, people.
Yeah.
People.
Yeah.
And people are flawed. And when you have expectations on people, you get disappointed.
There you go. That's true.
So here's the thing, that through that and through the lack of people, I've learned to cut out the middleman and go straight to the source.
Shama. Yeah. Whew, can we cut on that? I'm sorry. Can we cut? I just got a revelation. Paulie, I want to first of all thank you.
Thank you.
Because
I wish we could have
love
talked
you.
more.
We're going to talk some more because you've got, we're right in the beginning. We're still in the first chapter of it, but I do want to let you know from my heart to yours that this is part of the vision that God, the creator, that the universe has given me to be able to reach out to people that are real. People that are real, that have had issues, that have had struggles, and that are not afraid to share them with you, regardless of who sees this and wants to be judgmental and whatever negative energy comes. You know, we need the negative so we can find the positive because it's already overshadowed.
And I just want to say that in the solution,
Yeah.
that I know that God, the God that loved me when I was a little boy, is real and has great intentions and plans for me, because I'm able to see the evidence of him working through people like you, through people like my friend Kathy, through even some of my enemies, from where he brought me from to sitting here today, through everything that you and I have gone through.
Yeah.
That is the evidence. So as far as the people are concerned, God has shunned all of that out.
My God.
Because he's shown me otherwise that I am worthy of his love.
Ooh. I can't do it. I just can't. There's nothing else really I can say. The relationship that we have, the relationship that we both share with God, with our Creator, it can't be categorized, it can't be put, it can't be just videotaped in one session. It's so beyond. And as long as people's minds are open and they're willing to hear the truth as we've lived it, I think that someone else will be helped. And so I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Again, this is not going to be it for Paulie, but we are very excited to have him. I need you to stay tuned because there's going to be some awesome things coming up in 2013. And if you dare to think outside of the box, and if you would like to join us, please send me an email to fashionmotivator@yahoo.com. Again, that's fashionmotivator@yahoo.com. We're going to be looking out for some of those emails. If you know someone that has a story that they want to share, if you know someone that's been in the trenches and God, the Creator, has delivered them and they want to be a part of this movement, this enlightenment, this higher level of thinking, and this spiritual wave that's taking over, and trust me, we are a part of it right now. I'm so glad to have you guys here with us. Stay tuned. Yours truly, Quincy Guest. Thank you. Has anybody ever had a struggle? Has anybody had something that they've had to overcome, something that they've had to work through? And if you're one of those people out there, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. In the struggle is transition. And in the transition is where you meet God. Right in the middle of your struggle. I've talked to so many people, and they felt like God had to deliver them before he would bless them. They felt like everything had to be right before they went back into ministry or before they actually jumped back into those dreams and the goals that they've had. But I'm here to let you know that God, the universe, will bless you right in the middle of your midnight, right in the middle of the thing that haunts you the most. If you open up your mind, if you release yourself to the energy that's within you, you'll see God transform everything in your life. Don't give up in the middle of your struggle. The struggle was created for you to survive. The struggle was created so that you could see your strengths and your weakness. Never give up on you.